Pelvic organ prolapse is when there's weakness in the vaginal wall or the pelvic floor muscles that can cause the abdominal organs to slip down into the vagina, and that can cause a bulge. So it could be the bowels that shift down out of place, the rectum or the intestines, the uterus. It could also be the bladder or maybe even the top of the vagina. And when this happens, it causes a sensation of heaviness or pressure. Also can lead to pain and discomfort, and a feeling of stinging sensation, just a discomfort down there. Also, just that feeling of pressure, or like, you know, if you have a hard time keeping a tampon in, or if it feels like you have a saggy tampon that you're trying to support there. Also, the inability to hold urine or stool, or having the opposite problem, having some constipation. And this is actually pretty common in moms. It happens to about half of women during their lifetime, whether it's post-baby or later on. So it is something worth checking with your care provider if you are feeling any of those sensations. When you do have a check for a prolapse, it is really great to have it done while you're standing upwards, so that if there is, you know, pressure from gravity, they can feel it, versus if you're reclining back, they might say there is no prolapse there, but it's a totally different feeling when you're standing. So it is important to get checked standing upright if possible. If you are suffering from prolapse, it's important to avoid any deep squatting. And also, if you are doing any squatting or other exercises, to keep the knees in line with the hips. So you don't want the feet going extra wide. But it is still important to keep up with exercise. Exercise is going to help to support the surrounding tissues that support that prolapse, and is also just a really great way to keep your mind and your body and your spirit feeling good. You know, if you've suffered with prolapse, or maybe it's something you're dealing with now, which I have in the past, it can really feel discouraging. You can feel like nothing's working, everything feels weird, it doesn't feel good. You can have pain with sex as well. So it can feel just really discouraging and really off, and you just feel like, is this ever going to get better? Am I going to be able to fix this? You might see an actual bulge there and think, oh my gosh, like, what is happening? I'm falling apart, right? So exercise will help you to feel better and feel like you're doing something to support yourself. There's a lot of things that you can do to help with the prolapse. Again, if you do see your care provider, be sure that their exam is done doing upright. And there's also some other inverted, like supine exercises that you can do too. So if you're lying back, having a pillow or some support underneath the hips to kind of lift, find that little inverted feeling through the hips too. And then in there you can do some pelvic floor exercises like elevators and flicks to also help to strengthen the pelvic floor and lift everything back up into place.